Carol Ann is here. Carol Ann Baldwin is a master gardener, and she volunteers her expertise on this radio station every week at this time so that you can ask your questions about your lawns and your gardens. And this is the time of year where I would imagine a lot of you are getting busy out there. What was it the other day? Somebody was talking to me about getting fresh peas out of the garden. Maybe it was Joe. It's one of those things I keep telling myself, one of these days I'm going to be the guy who brags about his fresh whatever.
Getting something fresh out of the garden,
So,
yes.
well, I do have an apple tree growing in a cup.
You do, yes. The apple tree is looking really cool. And the neighborhood orange tree.
The neighborhood orange tree is not, I can't take credit for that.
Isn't doing real well.
It's just,
it's just there.
No, it does good. It does good. Well, it's done now.
Oh, right. Yeah. For this season.
Yeah. It's amazing how in the winter.
Right, you get your fresh citrus.
By the way, I'm not saying anything about anything, but there was an article just a little while ago that vitamin C might help with cancer.
It's at mega doses. I saw this a couple months back. I heard an article on that, and it was pretty much at mega doses.
Mega doses?
Mega doses, and way more than what you would consume. On a normal.
Well, still.
I think on most of those things, and I always and I know people who have battled cancer.
Oh, I'm not trying to say there's a cure. I'm not saying that.
But there's so many of these things that come up on Facebook or articles going, eat this and you can stop cancer cells. No. Stop.
No, and I didn't mean to imply that.
Yeah,
I didn't mean to imply that.
I know, but it's just one of those kind of things.
Okay,
that
can I just explain myself?
Yeah.
I think what I'm trying to say is that the natural foods that you grow in your garden are healthy for you.
Yes.
Simple as that.
Yeah. I mean, what's the best way to put it? The cleaner you eat, the better. I mean, and cleaner meaning if you can grow it yourself, pesticide free.
Right.
However, that non-processed foods and things like that. A friend of mine posted or shared an article about Amish and that they don't get vaccinations and they don't have these issues. And I had to reply back, that's fine, but they're also a isolated genetic code. They also eat very clean. They also are outside all the time. They work hard. They eat properly. They don't consume alcohol. They don't partake, maybe some do partake in tobacco. They're not, running machinery that has exhaust fumes and things like that. So they live a whole nother lifestyle that is, probably a lot more of the reason why they don't have some of these health issues that the rest of
So maybe they were right all along.
Yeah, and it is. I mean, as they say, the closer to home that you can get your food is the better. So if you can grow it.
Well, Aldi's is not that far from home.
No, that's not that far from home. But where did that food come from? And it does have things to do with just what's naturally growing in the area that you live. They say allergies. Eating local honey, not meaning it's from the United States. It would mean Florida honey that's produced here in Marion County, that if you have allergies, that consuming that honey on a regular basis actually exposes your body to the pollens that you're more than likely allergic to, thus changing the way your body handles pollen, hence lessening your allergic reactions to it.
It makes sense, doesn't it?
So eating honey that's imported from China doesn't do that for you.
You know what we had the other day? We had a guest on.
To home.
We had a guest on who wrote a book called 100 Plants to Attract Bees.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and we gave the book away. So.
Yeah, gave it to Kathy Snyder, I think, won it.
I think we did, yeah.
Yes, because I saw her, I went to Earth Fair yesterday, and I will go back when the crowds lessen.
Oh, was it crowded?
So you can actually see the place, and
really?
It's
well, it's good for them.
It's good for them. Yeah, it's crowded. Well,
so
that's
what's your thought about it?
Where does their
food? So you said local food is better. Does their food come from local farmers?
Some of it is. The watermelons that they had were Florida watermelons. So that. But I mean, they're selling. I think what is it that they no GMO foods, no hydrogenated oils in their foods, no artificial sweeteners and colors in anything that they stock.
Yeah.
So, and I think that I believe their meat might be coming locally.
I want to go. I should go over there.
Like I said, I'll go back in a couple weeks when, I did get a pineapple because, hey, you can't beat a 99-cent pineapple. Yeah. But I will say that most of them did not look like they were ripe, so leave it on the counter for a few days till it actually gets ripe.
How do you know if a pineapple is ripe?
They always used to say you're pulling one leaf out of the top of them. I don't know if that's really that true. I found one that was much more golden further up the pineapple, and it actually smelled like a pineapple.
Oh, really?
I mean, that's how you tell if a cantaloupe and another melon, has a little give on the flower end, and that it actually smells like the fruit. If it doesn't, it's a good chance it's not fully ripe. So there's.
I like pineapples. I should get a pineapple.
Yeah, but they had. I mean, the place was packed. But
pineapples and coconuts. I must want to go to Hawaii
that just get a little
or
rum
South
to
Florida.
go with.
Do we
it.
grow pineapples in Florida?
Yes.
Oh, we do?
Yeah, you can grow pineapples as far up as here too. I mean, normally you think of them as something as South Florida because you do have to keep them from freezing for about 18 months, 2 years before they actually reach a mature age to create a flower. That's the pineapple.
So, forgive me for not knowing this, but I really don't know this. Okay, the part that you eat
Is the flower.
does that grow underground?
Nope, on top.
On top.
It's just like the
I don't think I've ever seen a pineapple plant.
it looks just like the top of a pineapple.
Let me look it up.
If you buy a pineapple, the top of the pineapple, and then when you get your pineapple and you cut the top off, you plant that back in the ground. And you can grow another one.
I gotta look. I've never seen a pineapple plant.
Pineapple, they're actually kind of neat looking. They, I don't know, kind of remind me of, besides being tropical, but something a little bit prehistoric. In my,
Really?
that the leaves are very sharp and stiff, not pleasant at all. And the pineapple itself, the outer part of a pineapple is really kind of, it's hard. But the fruit inside is delicious. So that's the best way.
I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Pineapple plant says nothing found. What do you mean
Oh, you
nothing
can
found?
find it.
It's got to be something in found.
How about growing pineapples?
The whole of Google doesn't have. I must have put it in the wrong place.
Could be.
Oh, yeah.
But
So can I ask about your Facebook post?
sure.
You told me off the air.
Yeah.
You put
the other
put
day-
3 words. I hate thieves, and we were all
right.
worried that somebody stole your motorcycle or
Oh,
something.
no, it wasn't personal. It did happen at work, and people who just are bound and determined to steal. Had 3 incidences on Saturday and 2 on Sunday, and it was just one of those things that you get very frustrated.
It's unbelievable.
Because people who steal from retail areas jack the prices up for everybody else. Because the businesses have to recoup their losses.
It's so unbelievable that people can't just keep things to themselves.
You'll wonder, keep their hands to themselves. Put your hands in
Pay
your
for
pocket.
things.
Pay for it.
That's where the world is supposed to work. All right, we've got 45 minutes left. We would love to hear from you. 622-9622. We'll be right back with Carol Ann.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. On this Tuesday, plenty of sunshine and pleasant with low humidity, high 81 to 85. Mainly clear Tuesday night, lows in the mid to upper 50s inland, 64 along the coast. Wednesday, mostly sunny and warm, high 83 at the coast, 88 inland. Thursday, sunshine and rather hot, high in the upper 80s at the coast, 95 in a few inland spots. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
There's a storm coming. We may not know its path, but your independent auto owner's insurance agent knows. No matter what happens, we'll be there when you need us most. Strong through every storm. That's how it's been for our first 100 years. And how it will be for generations to come.
Call George Mangan Insurance in Ocala today, 352-732-3191.
Don't get caught without your daily source of senior deals. Pick up your copy of the Senior Voice newspaper. It's your source for schedule and events tailored to seniors, with information you need, like a list of free events in the area. We even have Tom's Picks, a free referral for people who are looking for a company to do work for them. Tom's Picks will refer the company to you that fits your needs. And all we ask in return is that you tell them where you heard about them. For more information, call Tom's Picks, 352-804-1223. And pick up your copy of the Senior's Voice at most any business up and down the 200 corridor.
Now read Ocala Downtown newspaper online.
Hi, I'm Leah Caruso with Strive Rehabilitation, inviting you to tune in to the first and third Thursday of the month at 11 a.m. to learn about the latest advances in healthcare available right here at home. Ocala Regional Medical Center and Strive have teamed up to bring the most qualified medical professionals on the air to answer your questions and bring information to help you in your decisions concerning your health. Again, that's the first and third Thursday. Health matters.
Hospice of Marion County has an urgent need for volunteers to share a conversation with someone, run errands, hold someone's hand. All you need is a willingness to help others. Our volunteers believe the blessings they receive far exceed the services they offer. Will you consider serving, caring, and making a difference? Call today, 873-7441. Hospice of Marion County, making more moments of life possible.
Hi, this is Vanessa Lane Jennings with the Jennings Law Firm, located here in beautiful Ocala. Join me every single Friday at 10:30 for Legal Lane. We'll be discussing various legal topics such as family law, criminal law, contracts, and much more. So this is your chance to call in with your legal questions and have them answered. That's every Friday, 10:30, right here, WOCA The Source.
All right, 18 minutes after 9 o'clock. Beautiful Tuesday. Hope you're doing well. The temperature's kind of cool right now, but getting up to 82 today. And by the weekend, increasing every day to around the mid-90s for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We do have rain mentioned for next Tuesday, which is a week from today. I don't know if they're going to be raining out. I hope so, because we really need it.
We could sure use the rain.
I have a friend, Carol Ann, visiting from Naples because his house is in the danger zone.
Oh.
Isn't that horrible? He was showing me on the map how close it was to his house.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, Florida is on fire, and let's hope May maybe comes out better. Figured. Let me open up the almanac and see what they say for our weather for May, and actually we're supposed to be on the average temperature a degree below average, but precipitation should be 3 inches above average. So that's a good thing.
If they're right, yeah.
If they're right. They got from the 1st through the 10th, scattered thunderstorms. 11th through the 14th, this is the only part you don't like to hear, is tropical storm threat. But, it's hard to say. We've had... a threat is a threat. It's not necessarily mean anything bad's going to happen. Middle of the month, a few thunderstorms and cooler. And then near the end of the month, they're actually got thunderstorms more to the south of the state. But if we do get some kind of tropical storm issue, let's hope it does bring us some rain, even though we don't want any high winds. And of course, the rains, if they come too heavy, it just washes off. We're so dry that it takes a little while, that you almost need a couple of hours of just a gentle, light, drizzly rain in order to break that surface tension of the ground in order to get the water in. But that little bit of rain we had the other day, just because this is the only grass I can see from here, as what's under the horses here outside of the studios, and that grass there already looks a little bit greener than what it was last Tuesday, where it had looked pretty dry. We had that little bit of rain. It looks a little happier until we actually start getting rain. Irrigate as you can, realizing nothing's going to look real good. Be careful with fertilizations, because it's not. You don't want to encourage something to grow that's not that's stressed. If you can just keep it to where it's maintaining and I hate to say surviving, it's just going to do better in the long run. Don't try to force something to grow that is stressed. Those kind of.
The Star Banner
things.
had an article. Can I just read it? You might
Sure.
know this already. It says the Ocala City Council will consider during its May 2nd public meeting an ordinance that would limit residential and non-residential watering to 2 days per week when daylight savings time is in effect, and to 1 day per week when Eastern Standard Time is in effect. So
I think we're already under that within the county. That it's 2 days a week this time of year, 1 day a week in the fall and winter
I thought
months.
so too.
Maybe it didn't affect the city.
I don't know.
I know in the county we were, or at least that's what I've always been. We've had that for years now.
The normal year-to-date rainfall in Marion County by April 24th is nearly 14 inches, according to Weather DB, whatever that is.
Right, database.
Maybe. This year, Marion County has only seen 9.76 inches. It's normally 14 inches.
Right. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, we're way down for the year. And again, no fires out in the yard. If you're using charcoal, be sure you let that go out completely before you dispose of any coals or anything like that. We've got enough fires going just by bad people starting them and nature.
Yeah, they say that a lot of these fires, there was no lightning strikes
Right.
to speak of.
There's a couple of them that they're considering that have been arson. So,
Yeah.
if you see anybody doing something strange, in an area where we know it's so dry, if there, fireworks, things like that, call it in. It could be your home. That goes up in smoke. So do one of those kind of things. I do, before we get too far in, remind everybody that Saturday, May the 13th is one of the Master Gardener's spring plant sales from 8 to noon. And it sounds like such a short time, but we're pretty well sold out by noon o'clock.
Noon o'clock.
Noon 30. But no, it's from 8 to noon. They'll have the native plants, herbs and perennials, pollinators, hummingbird plants, butterfly plants, which you could almost lump those three together because they all sort of attract related family members. Fruit trees, ornamentals, shade trees, and shrubs, as well as the Melaleuca mulch, rain barrels, micro-irrigation supplies, garden publications, and of course, Master Gardener's there to answer your questions. Cash or check only, and please, no pets.
Check. They're going to take checks?
They'll take a check, but we can't do credit cards. I don't know, for some reason, we
Gosh.
don't have a swipe.
That's so risky. Somebody gives you a check and it doesn't. Oh, gosh. All right, you do have a phone call. Good,
All right.
Good morning. You're on there with Carol Ann.
Morning, guys.
Morning.
See, another thing you got to be a little bit concerned about with this very dry weather and grass fires is parking on a lawn or anywhere that the lawn is a little bit high and dry with your car because of the catalytic converter is so dang hot, and that could start a fire. 2 weeks ago, my neighbors had a house party, and they were using the field across the street to park some of the cars. And under one of the cars, it started smoking, and somebody had visually seen what was going on, and they moved those cars off of that lot so fast and hosed it down before it really flamed up, but it could have caused a fire. So you got to be careful. Those catalytic converters really are hot, and if they get close to grass, they're going to start something.
That's true. And even if you have to pull off on the side of the road because maybe you've broken down or flat tire or something like that, do be aware that, if you've been driving that underside of your vehicle, it's going to be pretty hot and the grass is dry.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, a lot of times when you're driving around in that, you can see where a car pulled off the road where the grass is really brown and singed down from the heat of a car. Although it did start a fire, but it could have if it would have been there long enough.
Right. So that's another good point to make is be careful if you are having a get together and people are parking in a grassy lot or anything like that. If possible, irrigate it ahead of time. Make sure it's mowed down so that it's not something that would be a hazard, because that would be horrible to have a get together for a celebration, and next thing you know, you have something devastating going on.
Really good point. Yeah.
A couple of years ago, up in I think it was Atlanta, at the racetrack up there, they had field parking for automobiles, and during the middle of the race, there was a big cloud of smoke off in the distance, and where all these cars were parked. One of them with the catalytic converter start fire. Dozens of cars were burned up and stuff, and it just goes to show you it can happen.
Yes, it can. Yes, it can.
Yeah.
Thanks for the heads up for folks.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Pray for rain. Goodbye.
Bye-bye now.
That is a really good point.
It is. Yeah. It really is, because and we don't think of that too often. We just automatically go ahead. You're going to have a couple extra people over, so you just pull up in the yard, or maybe there is an empty lot, a vacant lot next door, and it's a little high grass. Whatever, you just park. But with how dry it is something to be alert to. And if you do happen to have an empty lot next to you, you might even consider mowing a swath. Out in. It's not your property, but it's there and could be causing an issue for yourself. Same way if you have. If you're up near some of the natural areas in the county and there's vines, or you have vines growing in the yard, make sure they're not going from tree to tree to tree, because that's what they consider a ladder effect. Should a fire happen, it may be, the trunk of the tree would not necessarily catch fire right from the base, but if there's vines going up, they could go up and just carry a fire right up into the canopy of a tree, crossing over fences, so do watch those areas in your own yard. If, again, like I said, if you back up onto some of the natural areas on the Ocala forest or anything like that, or empty lots, that you might want to make sure that there's no vines coming across onto yours, because they do act as a natural ladder for fire when they decide to burn.
And when they go, I mean, 5,000 plus acres in Naples right now.
Yeah, that's on fire. Yeah.
That's hard.
And there's I forget how many fires they said throughout the state. So this is the driest we've been in years. And I mean, you can still look through, if you drive through the Ocala National Forest, you can see some areas that either burned a few years ago or back, those areas that burned, I don't know, what's it been now, 10 or 12 years ago, are just now back into full growth now. So it takes a while to recover on that.
We are almost to the bottom of the hour. Remember that Carol Ann does this show for a full hour, which means we've got a half hour left, and we would love to hear from you, whether you have a question about your lawn, your garden, maybe the watering requirements that we just talked about. I'm confused by it, too, because I thought, like you, I thought they were already in effect.
Yeah, makes sense anyway.
So, So, I do have one question about that, though.
Right.
I don't know if it's a way of skirting the law, but that underground watering thing,
micro irrigation, is
that what you call it? Where it just drips water through?
Right. Those, a lot of times, those are exempt because it's not putting out volumes of water out, and it's not going through an evaporation, not like a pop-up sprinkler that sprays water into the air before it hits the ground. It's actually just right at tree root area.
So those are allowed?
Well, they're allowed, but check ahead before. I mean, you don't want to be running them every day anyhow. And your established trees and shrubs are going to do okay. I mean, it's one of those things. You irrigate them, but let them.
I've been watering my apple tree every day.
Yeah, you have to. He's tiny. He's a little bitty thing.
All right, we'll take a little break. We'll be right back. Remember, we've got a full half hour. Carol Ann is here to help you with your lawn, your garden. Maybe you got vegetables. Maybe you got flowers. Maybe you got a tree. Maybe you got Spanish moss, and you're just going nuts with it. I don't know what you do about that. What would you do about that? All right, we'll be right back. There's probably an answer to that question.
Yes, there is.
We'll have to find out on the other side. It's a tease. What do you do about Spanish moss?
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. Lawmakers trying to work out a budget to prevent a government shutdown. One roadblock now cleared. The president's demand for money to build a southern border wall.
Building that wall and having it funded remains an important priority to him. But we also know that that can happen later this year and into next year. And in the interim, you see other smart technology and other resources and tools being used toward border security.
Counselor to the president, Kellyanne Conway, and Fox and Friends, Senate Democratic Democratic leader Chuck Schumer reminding Americans the president had promised Mexico would pay for the wall. Last night, Arkansas carried out the country's first double execution in nearly 12 years.
Republican Governor Asa Hutchinson of Arkansas had scheduled 4 double executions in 11 days. Judges blocked 4 of those. 3 have been carried out, and the last is set for Thursday.
Fox Radio's Tanya J. Powers. Fox News, we report this side.
My number 2 does not look like a number 2. I don't know what to call it. Is there a number 3?
Table for 4, please. Anything close to the restroom.
A middle seat with these stomach problems? That's my fear of flying.
Sound like you? If it does, you could be one of the many people with a digestive condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. Even if you don't know what EPI is, you might know the symptoms. Frequent diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain. If you have even just one of these symptoms, you could still have EPI, because not everybody experiences EPI the same way, which is why it's so important to open up to your doctor about all your symptoms. And the good news is, EPI is manageable, so don't keep a lid on it. Go to identifyepi.com, complete the symptom checker, and use it to have a conversation with your doctor. Don't keep a lid on it. Visit identifyepi.com. Brought to you by AbbVie.
Hi, my name is Erica Olstein. I'm a doctor of acupuncture and oriental medicine. So, you used to be wired, now you're just tired. You used to be thin, but now you're the heaviest you've ever been. You don't necessarily always have to take a med if your thyroid is playing dead. If you have a thyroid disorder, an acupuncture visit may be in order. Come visit me, your primary care physician, Erica Olstein, at A Better You Healthcare. Call me at 352-615-5566.
We all know the importance of good health, but we may not know the latest advances in medicine that are available to us. Monday at 9 a.m., Bern Paraiso will be our roving medical reporter to tell us about Seven Hill Gastroenterology PA and Dr. Reddy. We'll discuss screening, techniques, and more. So tune in and listen. This is more than news you can use. It's news that could save your life. That's Monday at 9:05 a.m.
What you may have missed on the John Tesh Radio Show.
And small dogs, they can be aggressive. Have you seen this? The dog most likely to strangers or even their vet, it's the dachshund. Our eyes should never have to tilt more than 10 degrees to read something. Otherwise, we're more likely to crane our neck up or down, which raises our risk for neck and backaches. People living near a Target store have homes that have increased in value by 5 to 8% more than the national average.
Intelligence for your life on the John Tesh Radio Show. Don't miss this stuff.
All right, 27 minutes before 10 o'clock. It's really a beautiful day out there, Caroline.
It's a gorgeous day out. Gorgeous day.
So
another miserable day here in paradise.
You want to know the temperature or anything like that?
Sure. What are we at right now?
It is 64, climbing to 82. It's going to be a nice day, and then it gets warmer each day until the weekend where it goes up to the mid-90s.
Yeah. And I don't think it's going to stay up in the 90s. I mean, if we're real sunny, it's going to be a little bit uncomfortable possibly, but it takes a while, or at least it has in the last couple of weeks to get up even into the mid-80s. I think I heard a news report the other day that said, we hit, or we're going to hit 92 degrees by 4 p.m. And I thought to myself, 4 p.m., it's starting to cool back down. So our high will be at the end of the day that it's going to take it, it's more than likely you're not going to be uncomfortable. Realize it's spring, it's a good time where the weather's actually fantastic and enjoy it while we can. The low humidity, of course, has been nice, but that's the reason we're not getting that rain either. There's no moisture, not a whole lot of moisture in the air. So, but we were talking about the irrigation, and like I said, I've been under the impression over the last 5+ years that we've been within that 1 and 2 day irrigation. And the thing is with that, normally it makes sense that in the springtime, this is a dry season for us, is that irrigating 2 times a week assists the grass from come up out of its dormancy, brings your rest of your landscape plants, again, coming up out of dormancy. The temperatures are getting warmer, and it keeps them from being stressed. Soon as our summer months begin to happen and we actually start to get rain, most of the time you're turning that irrigation either off and just manually using it when you need rain, when it's not getting any rain. And then we go into fall and we drop that irrigation, that automatic system, back down to 1 day a week. That's because we're getting it ready to go into a dormant season. Plants don't grow in the wintertime. I know our winters are very mild, very pleasant, but the plants are still semi-dormant and they need to go into that. So when you're watering at this time of year, water deep. Don't just turn that sprinkler system on for half an hour. Turn it on to where you're putting that 3/4 of an inch of water down. And I would probably say twice a week, just because we're that dry. Put that water on. You'll see that you're have a lot less stress to your landscape. If you don't have an irrigation system, you probably don't have a St. Augustine lawn or a zoysia lawn. Those are ones that they generally install an irrigation system. If you have a Bahia lawn, it's going to survive this drought condition. It may not be pretty right now unless you're putting some water on it, and you can. Like they're saying, you can put your sprinklers on, you can turn on a hose on an oscillating sprinkler or something like that and get some water to your landscape. Now, the micro irrigation is a whole nother thing. It goes in, it's right at ground level, it's at each shrub or each tree, usually putting out measured by gallons per hour versus, volumes per 100 square feet or anything like that, to where those trees and shrubs are getting enough water. But again, with those, you might do better just going out there and watering them nice and deeply once every 10 days or so. And if you're holding a hose with your water wand or your water nozzle on the end of it, you actually can get away with watering on days other than what they're recommending or what they're asking you to do. So there are loopholes to a lot of these things.
We mentioned Spanish moss before the break, and we went to this website and told us a bunch about it. I was just curious, could you use Spanish moss as a way to retain water instead of it all? Like, would it be absorbent, or is it just ugly? I mean, would you use it?
Well, like
around your bushes and stuff?
People do use it as a mulch. I don't find it to be real attractive for that, or some people will use it for house plants. Again, because it's going to act as a mulch. It will retain water. Spanish moss in itself does not kill a tree because it is non-parasitic. It can become damaging to a tree when a population of it, when it begins to grow a lot. But usually your tree, if you start getting Spanish moss, ball moss, all those other things, and the tree or shrub is declining, it's declining for another reason. Whether or not it's the age of the plant, improper fertilization or pruning, over pruning on things, mulch that's volcanoed or just allowed to been piled up over years around the trunk and that root system, making those roots being way up on the surface versus down in the ground. There's a lot of other reasons why your plant would be declining, and then hence the population of mosses gets a chance to grow more. Because you'll find Spanish moss will grow on power lines. It doesn't really matter.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. I don't see any of it out here at all.
No, not too many. I mean, because these plants are generally healthy. And, of course, with the maintenance crews that are going to come through the mall here, that they're going to probably try to keep that pulled off or down to a minimum on things. I mean, it is pretty. It does have a look to it, especially when it's in those big old century old oaks and things that you drive down a country road. It is real pretty.
Yeah, that is real cool. So if you were out on a picnic with the family and there were some kids just rolling around in the Spanish moss, what would you say?
Watch out, you're going to be itchy.
Because
they say chiggers. Get up in that. If you get it, I know they used to use it to stuff mattresses and things like that. And as we found out looking at this website, it was because the moths don't like it, so they're not going to come to feed on it like some other natural stuffings and things like that, natural textiles. were attractive to those, so that was one of the reasons. But I'm sure that had to have been cleaned, and how they did it, I'm not sure. But nowadays, if you want it, because you're going to use it either for craft projects or to use around your plants, take it, wash it well. I think I've heard a lot of people say take a cap full of Clorox or bleach into a bucket of water and soak it in there for a little bit, rinse it off, throw it in the freezer. Even would kill insect pests, but some people are upset, don't like.
I'm actually amazed that the craft stores sell Spanish moss and pine cones. To me, it's like, hello, those are really free and they're everywhere.
But you know what? I don't have hardly any pine cones in my yard.
You don't?
No. I think I have like one pine tree in my woods.
Oh, okay.
And so there's not a lot. But if you went out in the forest, you could go find some or different areas.
All over the place, right?
Oh, in different areas that are growing pines, but sometimes in the craft stores and things, they're selling those big pine cones. Usually, that they're craft size, and they've probably been cleaned, and so that they're not going to be harboring any insect pests and things like that. So
you do have a phone call. Good morning. You're on the air with Carol Ann.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Carol Ann?
Yes.
Carol Ann, this is Gareth, and I am interested in the tree that everyone sees in Leesburg when they go to Bite Week, which is coming up. It's a beautiful shade tree, sort of, with purple trumpet flowers. And I think it's a jacaranda.
Could be, it could be jacaranda, or I know there's actually even a pink tababuia, but
tababuia.
Yeah, no, I think this is different from the tababuia. This has leaves that are sort of feathery, and like a mimosa tree. And I was going to ask you if it, from what I understand, there's a jacaranda mimosifolia or something that I tried to Google it, but I didn't find out if it can be started from a little pod or anything.
From a seed pod. Seed pod might take it a little while to get going, but I would think it could. Without an issue. And Leesburg's not that far from us that it should, it would more than likely do okay. I know, years before they used to say tababuia, we couldn't really grow it up this far. And I think even the jacaranda, I'm not sure if they thought that wouldn't do this far, but we have had some warmer winters over recent years.
Tababuias, right. I know of two tababuyas that are in bloom. I guess they're just about through now, but they're here in Ocala, and I was able to start. I have a bunch of little rootings that came from the seeds, so I just wondered if I could do a jacaranda. I don't know where I can put them, though, because I don't have a big enough yard.
You've run out of room. That's a lot of times that happens. But
that tree is the most magnificent thing I've ever seen. They'll see it when they go to Bike Week.
They're going down to Leesburg over the weekend. Sure. And again, I think it's just one of those kind of things of having enough room to put a tree that's going to get some nice size to it, and starting them, I think, from seed, it's going to probably take several years to get any size out of them. I got to try to find out how that they actually get them propagated for sale. And it could just be that's it, that they either start them from seed or from cuttings. But even with a cutting, that's going to give you maybe a year or two head start on things. Or if they do a root sucker, like you can with crepe myrtles, where you can just take a water shoot off the bottom. If there's any of those coming up, I have to look it up myself even to see how those ones would do.
Well, there's so few and far between around here that but it certainly is spectacular. I saw it last year, and I heard that it was blooming again this year, and we saw another one coming back from Orlando last week that was in bloom, and that's how I looked it up and got interested in it. So,
Right. I know there's not too many of them up as far as us, and I'm not sure if, I mean, it doesn't seem like it's that far south that it would make that much of a difference, but it could be that there's, pockets up here in Marion County or northern Marion County that they won't do real well, but if you've got those warmer areas that you should be all right on if you can find one. I'm trying to remember how to, and if anybody can remember how to spell jacaranda, because I'm either not spelling it right, because I'm not finding it on...
J-A-C-A, I think.
Yeah.
J-A-C-A-R-A-N-D-A is
it's not coming up on UF, but...
okay. I Googled it, so...
Yeah, I'm going to say, okay, it's coming up under if I do a Google search, but it didn't do anything on UF, so... But here we go. It's a fast-growing tree. Let's see if we can find it. Yeah, the Mimosifolia jacaranda. I'm trying to see if that'll come up with anything. Yeah, they are gorgeous. They're a huge tree, preferred zone 9 to 11. And so that could be why, you figure if we're an 8B, 9A, you get down to Leesburg, they're closer to a full 9. So that 9, 10, or that is going to be probably its most happiest location, and especially when you're looking at a tree that's going to go to 50 feet. It says from 5 to 50 feet tall. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And 15 to 60 feet wide. So a small tree doesn't make too much of sense.
No.
I don't think there's such thing as. I don't think those are such things. Avoid pruning them. Central leader, vertical suckers that when pruned, broken or diseased branches is the only things they tell you not to do. Soil does not drain well enough. Mushroom root rot. So it's one of those things that actually does take a little bit of extra. Propagate jacaranda, but using softwood cuttings, grafting, and seeds, though trees from seed may take a long time to bloom. So more than likely a softwood cutting, which would be coming on probably, let's see, we're about to May. So here, like the end of May, early June. So if you know anybody who's got one, you might be able to get a, say, 6 or 8 inch piece off the end of a branch, and try rooting one like that. I'd probably go with the rooting hormone though on something like these.
Well, at my age, I think I'll just look. I'll go to Leesburg and visit it
and go admire it. Sounds good.
Well, thank you.
You're
so
welcome.
Much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye now.
All right, we learned a lot with that little conversation.
Little bit, yeah. And it's just so funny that I tried to bring it up on the UF one, and I was spelling it correctly, but it didn't want to bring us up anything additional. See, in Hawaii and other tropical locations, jacaranda can be invasive and crowd out native plants. So I'm not sure what we've got on here. I'll have to look it up a little further.
Caroline, did Robin give you tickets to the...
She sure did. We've got 2 tickets to the Mark Johnson Emery Lester concert that's coming up. That's this Saturday, the 29th, at... where's that? The Ocala Civic Theater. So we have 2 tickets. It's $50 for the pair of tickets, and these guys are playing the clawgrass type of
that's Mark's,
bluegrass.
That's Mark's playing style.
Yeah. And I've heard of that before. I've actually, I think I've seen it actually out in the forest. There was a guy.
He'll be here tomorrow. He was here once before, and he showed it to us. It's instead of pulling your fingers when you play, you push them.
Push it. Okay.
You push them. Yeah.
Little bit different method, but they've got these 2 are in concert on Saturday, and so I guess there's 2 showings. Does it matter? Doesn't look like it matters on which one. At 2 o'clock and 8 o'clock are the show times. So we got 2 tickets for that, and the Bob Wine's $20 gift certificate
Nice.
for plant material only. So, and excludes seasonal plants. I'm not sure what that means. Of course, we're not looking at poinsettias and things like that, and Easter lilies are done. So, how are we going to do this?
Well, here's how we do it. We're going to take a break. And I'm going to use the post that you put on Facebook, I hate thieves. And I'm going to ask the first listener who says to Carol Ann, I hate thieves too, then you will win the entire package. You will win it for free, legitimately, no thievery required. But you will have a good time at the Mark John. Mark is such a nice guy. If you get a chance tomorrow, tune in. We'll have him in the studio.
Fantastic.
He's, by the way, the emergency management. Oh no, I guess he retired from that. But he was the emergency management director over in Levy County.
Okay.
Did you know that?
Okay. I remember him around because I know I've heard the clawgrass. So I must have heard him somewhere before.
Do you know who his star student is?
No.
Steve Martin, the comedian.
Oh my goodness.
Takes banjo lessons from Mark Johnson.
From Mark Johnson.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, we will take a little break. If you want the tickets to see Mark Johnson and Emery Lester and the $20 gift certificate to Bob Wine's Community Gardens, call Carolyn right now and say, I hate thieves too. The number is 622-9622. We'll be right back.
Hello, gorgeous. Hi, this is Becky at Hello Gorgeous Salon. Let's get rid of those sun damaged ends and faded out color and get into something rich and vibrant. It's time to get that new look started. So call today and set up your appointment at Hello Gorgeous Salon, 351-5358. Hello Gorgeous is a certified Brazilian blowout salon. We can tame those locks, leaving your hair healthy and shiny with a Brazilian smoothing treatment. And whether you're going on a job interview or out on a date, your hands do a lot of talking. Manicures are a must. Hello Gorgeous is a full-service salon, so let us help you make a great first impression. Call us today to set your appointment at Hello Gorgeous. Our number is 352-351-5358. Again, that's 352-351-5358. Hello Gorgeous is conveniently located in the heart of downtown Ocala, right next to the historic Marion Theater. And don't forget, we also do men and children's cuts too. Hello Gorgeous.
Cookies, 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 cookies. We go cookie eating cookies.
When you want something special and fun for any occasion, get cookies. King Cookie in the Paddock Mall in Ocala will make a delicious, fun-filled delight just for you. So next time you're in the mall, stop by King Cookie or call 352-237-2557. KingCookieOcala.com. Customized cookies, cakes, and more. King Cookie.
Eating cookies. We're so happy eating cookies. Cookies!
This is the beat of a normal heart. Now this is the beat of a heart of someone who just snorted or injected or smoked methamphetamine. Why? For a high. And this is what happens to that normal heartbeat. It's irregular, it's racing, it's why it's called speed, and it can do bizarre things to our heads. It can make us aggressive and violent. We can start hallucinating and end up doing some serious damage to people. Call 1-8888-NO-METH today for more information on methamphetamine. That's 1-8888-NO-METH.
A message from the Partnership for a Drug-Free Florida and America.
Career Source Citrus Levy Marion brings together business and community partners, economic development leaders, and educational providers to connect employers with qualified, skilled talent and job seekers with employment and career development opportunities. Tune in the first and third Wednesday of each month at 9:30 a.m. to Career Source Citrus Levy Marion and learn how they can help you.
All right, 6 minutes left in the show. Flies, doesn't it, Carol?
It sure does.
So we gave away the tickets. Jim, Thank you, Jim, for calling in to get the tickets. And
and I guess Jim knows.
I guess they're friends,
that he's known him and has heard him, and so we'll definitely enjoy his concert.
He's been on Letterman. Did you ever see him on Letterman?
Wow, no. That's cool. Somebody local, homegrown kind of things.
He's really amazing. And
that's cool.
I was telling you, I play musical instruments, but I've never played a banjo. I've never even held one. So maybe tomorrow I can say, can I just touch it?
Just touch it.
Just touch it.
Oh, I'm sure he'll let you. Just something else, just so that I don't forget in these last few minutes of the show, is have you ever wanted to be a master gardener? Everybody, we get people who
You're
ask
our
me,
inspiration. If we do, it's because of you.
And people ask often, how do you become a master gardener, this and that. Well, there's a master gardener orientation on Wednesday, May the 24th from 10 to noon. If you're interested, schedule yourself that block, because it is a 2-hour orientation to learn about the application process, which you can do, I think, the application there on that day if you'd like, or you can take one home and bring it back. They'll learn about what the classroom training would be all about, Master Gardener certification, continuing education, field trips, and monthly meetings, as well as your volunteer service hour requirements. Because it is a volunteer organization, that's how they keep us how they keep it going, is that you agree to volunteer your time. And most of us go in wanting to learn more about gardening and growing here in Central Florida, and then once we start learning, we want to share it with everybody else, so it makes it a win-win situation for everybody all the way around.
And we do have a phone call. Good morning. You're on the air with Carol Ann.
This is Jim. I'm needing to root a cutting off a bottlebrush tree. I've tried a couple, and they just die out instead of rooting.
Okay.
What's the best place to get one?
Have you a bottle brush or a good cutting?
It's a bottlebrush tree.
Okay.
I'm trying to get a cutting from that.
Okay. Well, the bottle brush is naturally a shrub. When they put them as a tree, it has been during the growing process that they've taken one central stem and trimmed everything else off the bottom of it to get that single trunk that goes up and becomes, like more of like an umbrella type tree versus a large shrub.
Right.
So it's any of the bottle brush plants. To get a cutting would just be off of any of them, because it just takes training that into a central leader system to get a tree. Those might do better as a air layering, where you cut through partially. I think we've talked about it on doing camellias, using a little piece of toothpick to hold the opening open, a little rooting hormone, moist sphagnum moss wrapped in plastic wrap, and then wrapped in aluminum foil to keep out light and hold all that moisture in. You give it at least 3 to 4 weeks if the end hasn't died. You can peek in and see if you've got roots going. If you do, you leave that covered again for a little bit, another few weeks, and then you can remove your cutting and plant it in the ground. So I think they might do better as a air layered cutting versus just taking a cutting, or do your cuttings probably semi-hardwood. So again, like this time of year, May, June, rooting hormone, keeping them moist, which is going to take actually putting them in some way that either you're misting them or putting them into a plastic bag that you can kind of knot up a little bit so it's not touching them but keeps that humidity up. Because without roots, they can't take up moisture from the bottom half, so you have to keep that top foliage moist.
Okay,
don't know if that helped much. You're welcome.
Thank you for the call.
Yeah, that one's a little more in depth for this late in the program, but maybe we can get into a little bit of the air layering and getting some cuttings off of some trees, because we're coming into that where you would have that semi-hardwood. It's not fully stiff from that it's old growth. It's still this year's growth. It's still pliable, still flexible, and allows you to. It should root much more easily. So maybe next week we can get into some of that.
All right, things grow naturally in my yard.
Yes, they do.
I don't, except for this apple tree. I haven't really planted anything.
The apple tree needs to go in a little pot with some dirt so he can sit on a nice windowsill and
become a tree.
Become a tree, just kind of fun. Like I told you before, I had an orange tree growing in a pot in New Jersey. Why can't we have which apple was this?
Gala.
A Gala apple.
Yeah.
Growing in a pot here in Ocala.
Oh my gosh, the time is already done. Thank you, Carol Ann. Thank you for doing
Larry.
this.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, Carol Ann volunteers her time to do this every week. Do you have to go to work now?
No, actually, I'm off today.
Oh my gosh, that's a good feeling, isn't it?
Oh yeah. This was a weekend. I was off yesterday and today.
Oh my God. Well, thank you, Carol Ann.
Thanks, Larry.
We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. A government budget sticking point may be getting unstuck as the president says he's considering backing off the demand for border wall funding.
I am told this morning that the president is confident he will get some money for the wall in this spending deal. The president tweeting out this morning, quote, "Don't let the fake media tell you that I have changed my position on the wall. It will get built and help stop drugs, human trafficking, etc."
Fox's John Roberts. The president expected to unveil his tax plan tomorrow. It's believed to include a push to slash the corporate tax rate. Racing legend Dale Earnhardt Jr. has said,
"I like finishing good."
And now it looks like he'll be finishing this November 19th at Homestead Miami Speedway. Hendrick Motorsports announcing that the 42-year-old will retire from NASCAR at the end of the 2017 season. Fox News, we report, you decide.
My number 2 does not look like a number 2. I don't know what to call it. Is there a number 3?
Table for 4, please. Anything close to the restroom.
Oh, a middle seat with these stomach problems? That's my fear of flying.
Sound like you? If it does, you could be one of the many people with a digestive condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. Even if you don't know what EPI is, you might know the symptoms. Frequent diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain. If you have even just one of these symptoms, you could still have EPI, because not everybody experiences